Yvette Cooper has turned her fire on Labour leadership rival Jeremy Corbyn, saying his policies were not credible and would make the party unelectable. In her first explicit criticism of the left-wing MP, she said he offered old solutions to old problems. Her intervention is in response to his rising popularity, which has fueled a row over the direction of the party. But leadership hopeful Andy Burnham told the BBC attacks on Mr Corbyn misread the mood of the party. He said Mr Corbyn had brought the campaign to life, telling Radio 4's World at 1 there is a yearning out there for a different style of politics, and insisting he was the candidate to offer that. People want something bigger they can believe in, added Mr Burnham, and he criticized what he characterized as retail politics whereby small gimmicky policies have been serviced up to appeal to particular splinters of the population. His comments come after warnings by Tony Blair and other senior Labour figures against a Mr Corbyn victory, saying the party will be unelectable if it lurches to the left. Labour Party officials have, meanwhile, rejected calls to pause the contest over fears the process is being sabotaged by members of other parties. Wrong answers. Ballot papers are being dispatched to voters on Friday, with the result of the four-way contest, also featuring Liz Kendall and Andy Burnham, to be declared on September 12. Shadow Home Secretary Ms Cooper accused Mr Corbyn, who is the current frontrunner, despite beginning the process as a rank outsider, of bad economics. She said his policies, including on renationalization, quitting NATO, and quantitative easing, were not radical, would not stand up to scrutiny, and would not get Labour elected. Ms Cooper said she did not want to dismiss the values and intentions of Mr Corbyn or his supporters, but she said she would not pander to them or pretend she agreed with his answers for Britain. The truth is that Jeremy is offering old solutions to old problems, not new answers to the problems of today, the leadership hopeful said. She added, I feel really strongly, not just as a leadership candidate but as a Labour Party member that desperately wants an effective Labour government, that his are the wrong answers for the future. They aren't radical and they aren't credible. And they won't change the world. They will keep us out of power and stop us changing the world, she said. Ms Cooper said she knew criticism of Mr Corbyn could cost her votes but felt she had to speak out because there was a battle taking place for the soul of the Labour Party. She said she did not believe that Mr Corbyn would be able to hold the party together. Ms Cooper's speech came as Mr Blair intensified his warnings about the party moving to the left, saying Labour risked annihilation if the Islington North MP won the leadership contest. In an impassioned letter printed in The Guardian, he said the party was walking over the cliff's edge. Mr Blair, who won 3 elections and served as Prime Minister between 1997 and 2007, added, if Jeremy Corbyn becomes leader it won't be a defeat like 1983 or 2015 at the next election. It will mean rout, possibly annihilation. Meanwhile, former Labour Minister Jack Straw told BBC Radio 4's Today programme that Mr Corbyn's policies were economic illiteracy of the worst order. A vote for the Islington North MP, he said, would leave the party in perpetual opposition, adding that Mr Corbyn was scared of becoming leader because he never expected to be in a position to win. However, Ken Livingstone, former Labour MP and London Mayor, defended Mr Corbyn's economic strategy and said Mr Corbyn was the only candidate who had sat down and thought through his policies. Mr Livingstone also downplayed fears that the party may split in two if Mr Corbyn became leader, and said Labour should be pleased with a huge surge in new members. Numerous MPs have called for the leadership contest to be postponed over fears it has been infiltrated by supporters of other parties, but Labour has rejected the claims. The Electoral Reform Society has said Labour should delay sending out ballots while checks are made on new members. On Wednesday, Labour said 610,000 were signed up to vote in the contest. It had 200,000 members before the general election. The society is not involved in running the contest, but its Deputy Chief Executive Darren Hughes said it was obvious there were some people who did not genuinely support Labour who had signed up to vote and should not be allowed to take part. However, a Labour source said, we are confident in our processes and system and have no plans to delay or suspend.